It is Wednesday, May 22nd, and the Dong Report plus the Whiff Report are back in your lives. I am Matt Modi. I'm going to have 3 home run predictions for you guys to lock in, and I'm going to have 1 whiff prediction, strikeout prediction for you guys to lock in as well. Pretty awesome Dong slate, to be honest with you guys. Narrowing it down to 3 was very, very tough. There's probably 5 or 6 more that I would have gone with. Now, if those hit home runs, so be it. I'm just officially going with the 3 that I had. Strikeouts, on the other hand, not as juicy of a day. There's just one strikeout prop that I do like, but I do think it's worth laddering as well. So I do think that we can get some pretty juicy plays here with the strikeout prop. Of course, before we can go into today's picks, we got to do a recap from yesterday, which was good in the dong department, not so good in the strikeout department. Now, technically, we're 1-0 as of right now on our dong plays from yesterday. Both we had Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rushman yesterday. That game got delayed in the rain, so technically there are no L's on that one yet. Now, if they play today and neither hit a home run, then those will be considered L's, and I will track them as such. But as of right now, we had a 1-0 day on dongs yesterday. Unfortunately for strikeouts, I went 1-2 on my 3 picks. We got the juiciest play to cash. Thank you to Logan Webb, hitting 6 strikeouts for plus 150 odds. But we got hooked on Clark Schmidt. I had him over 6.5 strikeouts. He ended with exactly 6 and only 5 innings pitched. And then I lost Brian Wu under 4.5 strikeouts. Just not even close on that one. I think he ended up with 7. Just pitched a great game. Just a bad play there. But down a little over a unit yesterday on our whiff picks. On the entire season, we still have a ways to go to get profitable on dongs, and we're slightly in the red on whiffs as well. Now, we were hot heading into yesterday. I had hit 3 straight heading into yesterday, and then of course we lost yesterday. So I am very, very confident hopefully by Friday, we'll be in the green on whiffs specifically. Dongs is going to take a little bit longer. Down little over 17 units on dongs, which is just bad. No way else to say it, just bad. Dongs are down on the entire season, so it's not just me, but it's not fun to be down that much. And then whiffs were down a little less than 2 units, which again, pretty confident we're going to turn that around and get in the green pretty soon. So if you are new to my channel, I would appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, and then of course subscribe, specifically subscribe if you are new. And the last thing I'll mention before I get into today's picks is that I do have a Dub Club where I send everything out. Dub Club gets you everything that I'm playing, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, across all sports, WNBA now, NBA playoffs is on the Dub Club. It's $5 a month to get everything texted to you or to your phone via text, email, or Telegram, which is what I was looking for. I will say, everything that I play on Dub Club, same exact plays you see me give out for free on YouTube and on Twitter, so you don't get anything extra. You just get it sent to you early. So as soon as I decide what a play is, the very first thing I do is send it out to Dub Club. You know, if I'm recording a YouTube video, by the time I record, edit, and then post, the odds change. Really nothing I can do about that, so my Dub Club was a way to combat that. Just post plays immediately to that. So if you're interested, $5 a month. If not, you can get everything for free. No harm, no foul there. I just wanted to give people the option. But that's enough of that. Let's get into today's bangers, starting with the 3 dong predictions that we have. Rangers versus Phillies game. I'm taking Bryce Harper to hit a home run plus 290 odds at FanDuel. So as I mentioned, some absolutely incredible games today, both from a weather perspective and targeting really bad pitchers as well. And then games like this one specifically, Rangers versus Phillies, you're marrying the two. It's a horrible, horrible pitcher for the Rangers in Dane Dunning, and an incredible weather game as well. It's hot, it's humid, the wind is blowing out to right field. And the pitcher, Dane Dunning, for the Rangers is specifically bad against lefties. So honestly, if you wanted to take every single lefty hitter on the Phillies to hit a home run and just put them in a round robin, I don't think that would be a bad idea. You would get Harper, you would get Schwarber, you would get Brandon Marsh and Bryson Stott. I think all 4 of them could easily hit home runs. Now, Bryce is the player that I'm going with officially. If Bryce hits a home run, we will track that. If the other guys hit a home run, unfortunately, we will not, because I can only track what I officially give out. And I will admit the plus 290 odds are being reflected in the fact that this is a great weather game and a great pitching matchup as well. But Dane Dunning, which we're going to get into, gives up so many home runs to lefties that I do think that this is worth hitting at the plus 290 odds for Bryce. And we're seeing Bryce start to go on a heater. He just hit a home run yesterday. He's got 2 home runs in the last 14 days, which that doesn't look so great. But both of those home runs have come in the last 6 days. So if you look at his ISO rate over the last 7 days, which I get is a small sample size, but that's when he's starting to heat up. His ISO rate in the last 7 days is at 36%. That would be well within the excellent category. Now, if you look at his ISO rate over the last 2 weeks, which is generally what I like to look at, it's at 21.7%, which is not excellent, but it's still considered great and within the threshold that we would look for. His barrel rate is in the excellent category at 16.2%. Now, those two stats I talk about a lot, ISO rate and barrel rate. ISO rate stands for isolated power, measures power. Barrel rate measures contact, how often you hit the barrel of the bat when you make contact. Contact plus power equals dongs. That's why I look at those two. And as I mentioned, Bryce has been on fire recently, and he's much, much better against right-handed pitching, and that's what Dane Dunning is. If you look at the entire season for Bryce Harper, so not isolating it to any dates or anything like that, the entire season, Bryce's ISO rate against right-handed pitching is up to 28.6%, well within the excellent category. And then if you look at his splits, his difference between lefties and righties, his hard hit rate is a whopping 14% higher against right-handed pitching than it is against lefties. He just hits righties significantly harder. And Dane Dunning is one of the worst pitchers in the entire MLB against left-handed pitching. I don't know what it is about his pitches, one of the worst pitchers against left-handed hitting. I don't know what it is about his pitches, but lefties, it's just a freaking moonball when they see pitches come their way. He's got a home run per 9 of 2.81 against lefties. That is horrible. For context, the worst home run per 9 in the entire MLB as of right now is 1.82. He's a full home run higher than that. It's terrible. He allows a fly ball rate to 45% to lefties. That's bad. He allows a pull rate of 64.9% against lefties. That is ungodly bad. That is like me pitching out there. He allows a hard hit rate of 54% to left-handed hitters. That is also ungodly bad. And on the entire season, this is not for any specific dates. This is not against righties or lefties. This is just everything this season. He's allowing a barrel rate of 15.6%. That's the worst in the MLB by a mile. The next closest is 12.9%. As I mentioned, if you wanted to take all of the lefties in the Phillies lineup and just put them in a round robin, I wouldn't blame you. It's an all-you-can-mash buffet against this guy. Let's just hope that Bryce is one of the lefties that hits a home run. That's our first play. Next up, we're heading to the Braves versus Cubs game, and I'm taking Marcell Ozuna to hit a home run plus 320 odds at FanDuel. Another incredible game for home runs from a weather perspective and from a pitching perspective as well. Super windy in Chicago, wind blowing out of the ballpark. Another situation that should be great for Carey. And the pitcher, Justin Steele, is on the mound for the Cubs. Sure, he's not as bad as Dane Dunning. He's not a very good pitcher at all. He's definitely someone you want to target for home runs. He's faced 63 right-handed batters this season, and he's given up 4 home runs in those 63 at-bats. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, 4 out of 63, but to put that into context for you, his home run per 9 against righties is 2.63. That is not quite as bad as Dane Dunning. That would still be the worst in the MLB by a country mile if you just extrapolated that out to the entire season. He allows a bad fly ball rate, a bad pull rate. He allows a higher hard hit rate to right-handed hitters as well, which Marcell Ozuna is. I will admit his barrel rate is not quite as bad as Dunning is, but he allows an average exit velocity of 90.6 miles per hour. That's 14th worst in the MLB of all qualified pitchers. People are hitting the ball very hard against Justin Steele. And to get to Ozuna, who is who we are going with to hit a home run, he did have a little bit of a lull where he went about 10 days or so without hitting a home run, but he has hit 2 in the last couple days. He's hit 4 over the last 2 weeks. So it's basically like if you look at the last 14 days, 14 days ago, he hit 2 home runs. Then he went a long stretch without hitting a home run, and then he hit 2 in the same day in a doubleheader. So he hit 1 in the first and the second game. But overall, if you just look at his stats without that context, ISO rate of 35.7%, that's excellent. That's the 11th best ISO rate in the entire MLB over the last 2 weeks. Barrel rate of 20%, that is also excellent. That is also the 11th best in the MLB in terms of barrel rate. He's going up against a left-handed pitcher. That's what Justin Steele is. Now, historically, if you look at his career, Ozuna hits for much better power against lefties. Now, that hasn't quite been the case this year, But his ISO rate is 27.5% this year against lefties. So it's not like it's a bad ISO rate by any means. It's still excellent. It's just a little bit higher against righties. I think that's going to normalize. I think eventually things are going to go the way they have been most of his career, where he's going to start hitting lefties harder. Hopefully that starts today, him mashing a home run for us as our second pick. Third up, final dong pick of the day. Mets Guardians game, Jose Ramirez to hit a home run, plus 500 odds at Bet Rivers. As always, we save our juiciest dong play for last. And Jose Ramirez being at plus 500, I think is an absolute gift. I don't think there's any scenario in which he should be priced at plus 500 odds. When you look at not only just the way he's been hitting, but when you look at all his advanced metrics as well. He's got 5 home runs in the last 2 weeks. He's got an ISO rate of 33.3%. That's just below Ozuna. That's the 13th best ISO rate in the MLB. His barrel rate is at 11.1%, which is in the great category, not excellent. For barrel rate, anything between 10 and 15 is excellent. Or excuse me, anything between 10 and 15 is great. Anything 15% and above is excellent. So his is in the great category. That's totally fine for us. But from there, an absolutely ludicrous, absurd fly ball rate, 64.4%. That is the highest fly ball rate in the entire MLB over the last 2 weeks. A ridiculous pull rate of 48.9%. That is an incredible number. For pull rate, anything in the 40s is acceptable. Anything 45% and above is good. Anything 50% and above is awesome. 48.9%, that's great. And I also love his average launch angle as well. Now, this is obviously correlated to fly ball rate. Like if you're hitting fly balls, you're having a higher launch angle. But just to let you guys know, his average launch angle, 27.1 degrees. Now, the sweet spot for a home run is a launch angle between 25 and 35 degrees, obviously, when you have the prerequisite power as well. That's basically saying every time Jose Ramirez makes contact, he's getting the ball in the air with the launch angle that you look for home runs. That's the second highest launch angle in the MLB over the last 2 weeks. That's a good sign for home runs, someone that's putting the ball in the air. Now, the pitcher for the Mets is Jose Quintana, another pitcher that is mashable, that is great to target for a pitcher to give up a bunch of home runs. Now, Ramirez is a switch hitter. He's got pretty comparable numbers against right-handed pitching versus left-handed pitching. He hits for slightly better power against lefties, which is what Quintana is. His ISO rate against lefties is 24.5%. Against righties, it's 23.4%. So both within the great category, slightly better against lefties. But if you look at some more advanced metrics, his fly ball rate and pull rate are better against righties, but his hard hit rate is significantly better against lefties. So sure, he doesn't pull it, doesn't hit the ball in the air as much against lefties, but he hits it a lot harder. So that kind of stuff evens out. All in all, very, very confident that Jose Ramirez is going to be able to mash one. Those are our 3 dong picks of the day. Hopefully we can just get one of these to mash to at least be profitable for the day. That'll be 2 straight profitable days. Regardless of what happens with the 2 pending from yesterday, we'll be in the green because we got one to hit. Let's keep that going today. And then we can transition on to our whiff report, our strikeout prop for the day. Just one that I do really like and I do think is worth laddering. Tyler Glasnow over 7.5 strikeouts. This is in the D-backs versus Dodgers game. That's minus 122 odds at FanDuel. So Glasnow over 7.5 strikeouts, minus 122 at FanDuel. The only prop that I have for today from the strikeout perspective. Really, really, really like this one. Now, I get any time you see someone taking a Tyler Glasnow strikeout prop, it probably seems a little bit square because the entire world is going to be on it. I actually think that this is a really good price we're getting at 7.5, even at the minus 122 odds. Like if you price shop this play, you look at the minus 122 and compare that to every other book. The closest book is minus 135, and most of the other books are minus 140 and above. And if you look at Caesars specifically, which is known as a pretty sharp sports book for baseball because they don't really limit you that much, they have this priced at minus 148. That's a pretty good sign getting it at minus 122. Now, I also think we're getting a little bit of a discount on this prop because if you look at the entire season, you would not think that the Diamondbacks are a team you want to target for strikeout props, right? They have a team strikeout rate on the entire season against right-handed pitching of 21.1%. That's about average. FanGraphs defines average as 20%, 22.5% and above is below average. So they're basically average. And that 21.1%, that's good for the 19th highest strikeout rate on the season, meaning only 11 teams strike out more than the Diamondbacks on the entire season. So I do think that we're getting a little bit of a discount when you just look at that. I mean, Glasnow should be priced at 8.5. He's not. He's priced at 7.5. But if you look at the last 15 games The Diamondbacks are actually striking out at the 6th highest rate in the entire MLB against right-handed pitching, and we've recently seen 2 right-handed pitchers have phenomenal strikeout games against the Diamondbacks. Yamamoto of the Dodgers, he struck out 8 Diamondbacks. His over-under was 5.5. Jack Flaherty of the Tigers, he struck out 9 Diamondbacks. His over-under was also 5.5. So they both went well over their strikeout prop. They both showed ceiling potential, which I can easily see for Tyler Glasnow. If you look at the last 2 weeks specifically, the Diamondbacks have 4 staples in their lineup, striking out at an awful rate. Now, awful is defined as anything 27.5 or higher. That's the worst grading for a strikeout prop. They have 4 guys that strike out 27.5% and above. And they also have another guy, Corbin Carroll, who strikes out at 26%, which is sure not the worst category they give, but still really, really bad. Now, looking at Glasnow, he's hit this in 5 straight starts. Honestly, when I see stats like that, it makes me more nervous than anything. But I also just think that this is a missed price line based on the Diamondbacks' entire season, that you think that, oh, you don't want to target their strikeout props against them. So I do think that they're getting a pretty good price here. I'll gladly take advantage. And I also do think that this is worth hitting for a half unit for 9+ strikeouts as well. You can get that at plus 150 odds. I did take that myself. I put a half unit on him to get to 9+ strikeouts as well. Again, that's at plus 150. But our official play is the over 7.5. Absolutely love this one. Rounding out our 1 strikeout prop of the evening, our 4th and final pick total of the evening for the MLB specifically. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe. Remember to check out the Dub Club if you are interested. But I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.